Hello, today I'm doing a book review on J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye. Here it is. I got it at Half Price Books one morning for just a few dollars there. And immediately after I bought it, it probably took me about a week to read just on lunch breaks, and I just maybe read it half an hour, 45 minutes after work on occasion throughout the week. And the book is very American. You can tell it's written by an American author with primarily American influences such as Hemingway. And the story's about a boy who's just dropped out of high school. He was living in the dorms. He was kind of peeved by everyone in the dorms. It's a really cynical character, and the cliche way of putting it is that teen and angst is what's often said about the character. Main character, Holden Caulfield, is his name. And it gives you some backstory of his family, both the parents, the sister of Holden, and the brother, and they all kind of have, I guess you'd say, literary interests. The brother works in Hollywood, the sister writes little short stories with a alter ego, so she gives herself a different name and writes stories. And Holden Caulfield, the main character, he's just kind of lost throughout the novel. And one thing that's really unique to this novel that I really enjoyed and maybe want to constantly read the book is that it's almost stream of consciousness in a way, but through kind of a young adult's perspective. So it's very crude, the narration, but it's extremely accurate. It's as if he took a young adult, and as he thought, his thoughts went to the pages. So it's really gripping and really attaches you to the character. And the name of the book, I didn't research this book at all, so I had no idea what it was about. And it being called The Catcher in the Rye, it really only makes reference to the name of the book just briefly, but it's very interesting when it does happen. I won't say a lot of spoilers to this book, because I think it's something that should really be enjoyed or read before putting research in, because some things really surprise you. And one thing you want to look for when you're reading it, which I don't see mentioned in a lot of reviews that I looked at after reading the book, is there's some strange allusions to one of the teachers that he visits towards the end of the book when he's truly lost, nearing being homeless, and really focus on the discussion, what the teacher does to him, and what the teacher did in relation to one of Holden Caulfield's previous roommates, who ends up killing himself. That's not a big factor in the book. It's not a big spoiler. It's just something he suddenly references. He remembers someone killing himself, and he relates that teacher he later visits in the story. And let me know what you think about that, because it's something that's just not addressed in any reviews, and it's something not mentioned in anything I've seen. Even recently watched the Salinger movie, and it's not something that's mentioned in the book. But I think it was a very interesting, really disturbing little allusion in the books. And I was very interested in the psychology of the character. It's one that's common amongst young adults or teens. Like, once again, he is just a very cynical character, and he's just very lost. It really makes you feel for him. We all have those stretches in life where we're just lost, trying to find what the next step is, and that's a large portion of this book. And if you, after a few chapters, and you really think what this character's dilemma is, you start to realize it's just a very human character. And I think that's what J.D. Salinger was going for, just an extremely human character. So after you read this book, you feel like you know Holden Caulfield. And although the character is very cynical, one thing you'll notice that he truthfully loves everyone. He almost can't admit it to himself, but at one point, of course, he's lost throughout the majority of the novel. But at one point, he says he misses all the people that earlier in the book he said just drove them crazy, and he pointed out all what he believed to be their flaws constantly. Later in the book, he says he misses them. Even a pimp he comes across who ends up beating him up, he ends up missing him. He even mentions somehow he misses him. So it just shows you that there's always going to be that human bond, no matter how cynical you become, no matter how much you think you're different, there's always going to be that human bond that you always come back to. Most of all, my favorite part of it, once again, is just how attached you get to the character with how accurately the narrator expresses this young adult's thoughts. So I'd give the book a read. Overall, just great book. Should read it just because it's unique, very American. If you like, I guess, existential literature, this kind of nears that category. It's got a definite voice throughout the whole novel that attaches you to the character. So give it a read it quickly, pay attention, you'll enjoy the book. Have a great day. Let's see what we can do with that.